removing fake nails so they do not do damage to the natural nail. We are going to get into the details of how to do this right now on the Biz Talk. All right. Tracey what?
What is this?
Oh, I love that sound.
Where's mine?
Go get it yourself. Get yourself some.
It's family style. Get it yourself.
Get it yourself, man. Tracey had an interesting story about somebody. She was at late night, like going on, I don't know, it was a YouTube or Instagram. She came across a video. She thought it was ours. You saw your face?
I saw my face.
Yeah. And the video was called I Disagree with Tracey. And I said, so do I every single day. And then that was the most awful sound I've ever heard in my life.
It's all okay. Right. I disagree with myself all the time anyway, so it don't matter.
Hey, I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I mean, you don't want, you want conversation out in the market. So
actually, I didn't watch the video because it was late and I just didn't feel like getting upset.
Oh, getting mad about a comment.
But I read the comments and it seemed like she was being nice. So.
Oh God!
I think she disagreed with my prep.
Well, whatever the case is, it's all good. Exactly.
I'm gonna do a video.
You've
I
done
disagree with Habib.
Please, I still hold the record for like the most hated comments. So nobody's got me beat on that.
I will agree with that.
Yeah. It was nasty, and I don't care. Anyway, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today.
I totally forgot now.
It's removal of enhancements, fake nails, artificial nails, so that you don't damage your natural nails. We put up a meme, I think last week. It was great meme. And it was about, clients ripping off their nails and damaging, even though you tell them do not do it over and over. But right now during this time, we're still in a world where you may have to do it yourself, right? How do you do it properly? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? We know the answer to this, but I want to talk about how, generally speaking, how should they be removed? Whether it's in the salon or at home, just overall, how should enhancements be removed so that you're not doing damage to the natural nail?
You get it right in here.
You just bite it, just rip it off. Kidding.
Apparently, a MetroCard is used a lot.
Okay, so we were talking about this before the podcast, and Tracey was saying she's been getting a lot of questions on this, or a lot of like DMs and comments. I don't understand that. She said that MetroCard's been coming up. Like that's when some people have been going to the salon and they say they've used a MetroCard.
They take a MetroCard, and they take it and they shove it underneath the acrylic, and they slide it.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Or they'll do that with a tip too. So they get a little pocket here. I'm not sure where they get it.
Oh my gosh! And they just like drive a wedge.
Yeah, and they just keep doing it until it pops off. Crazy.
That's horrendous.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But the MetroCard, I was like, why does the MetroCard keep on getting used?
Well, you know what? I understand, because anytime a door is locked and I can't get in, I just grab a crowbar and I just pry it open and just smash through.
Yeah. Like,
that's
Habib
how I
keys.
do it.
You're like, no!
I don't want keys. Give me the crowbar.
Give me keys.
That's insane.
Yeah, insane. But no, if you're going first, if I'm removing someone's nails, I'm going to use electric file to do it. But if you're doing it yourself, there's videos. We have so many videos. And I actually mentioned it one person in that meme. I'm like, hey, DM us and I'll send you the videos. And I just got
a lot
hit up.
Yeah.
There are ways of just clipping if it's long and then hitting it with a file and then, wrapping it in acetone. It's going to take a little bit. It's going to take some time, but it's way healthier for your nails than sitting there biting it or shoving something. I mean, that to me, especially when you're going and you're paying someone that is a professional and they get a MetroCard out and do it, like
that's awful.
Come on.
Well, let's talk about this just overall, okay? The concept of removing an enhancement from the nail, it's a simple one, right? It's take it down, right? Like you're gonna take down the enhancement, not all the way to the natural nail. Like you don't want to get it to the point where you're
Bleeding.
exactly,
Yeah.
or like you don't want to pick or remove you don't want to rip it off. Obviously, common sense is going to tell you you're going to take off parts of your natural nail. When you are removing acrylic, generally speaking, it's like you want to take it down as close as you can to the natural nail, but you're probably going to leave a little bit of acrylic on the, and I think that's a part where maybe people don't understand. They think you have to get every single piece of acrylic off the natural nail. No, exactly.
Even when customers would come in and I would remove them myself, usually I would shorten them. So, that I think we just talked about this, the idea that I'm going to grow my natural nail out long because I have artificial on top, and then I'm going to remove the artificial and I'm going to have this beautiful long nail that's not going to break. That's not reality. So I would cut them down short and then take as much as possible off, even it out, and put like a clear, or polish or whatever they wanted to go to, but at least a clear top coat on, and let the little remnants grow off. You can't even see it.
See, I think it's important to have that understanding first, right? I didn't understand that for a long time. I mean, when I had zero involvement on the nail or product side, I still don't have a lot, but just because of the content side, I've learned so much and I need to have more of an understanding.
Right.
But because I was operating on the business side for so long, I didn't know that you can.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. You're taking it down. You don't want to damage. You're leaving a little bit of remnant. And I think that concept was a big sort of like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's a little protection, a little barrier. Like I've seen people who are like, they just keep on soaking and they keep on scraping, and or they'll start taking a file. And
Dude,
it's like,
you get obsessive about it.
Yeah, it's like that all doesn't need to come off. Just smooth it out a little bit and leave it as a little protection layer.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, now you've got a little overlay, so to speak.
Right.
It's going to grow out, but it's going to protect, especially if you've got weak or brittle nails, right?
Yeah.
You don't, leaving a little bit on there is probably like gives you a little thickness.
Yeah, a little
right?
bit. Yeah.
I just I'm editing time codes, or I'm doing like the micro content right now on one of the videos that you and Greg did. I think it was July Look of the Month. I'm doing it right now. And the first part is him removing the acrylic.
Right.
And it's when I say it, when I'm like, okay, removing acrylic, I'm like, oh my God, it just seems like such a daunting task. And then when I watched how he did it on Tracey, and this is how Tracey does it too, for the most part, it's like, took the clipper, he clipped each side, it popped right off, right? And then he very gently just shaped the front, shortened it. He took the E-file and just very gently, and it was like, he left a little bit of acrylic on there, and it was like, oh my God. He removed it.
Yeah.
It's done. It was so fast, so easy, and so clean.
Yeah.
And that's what you should expect if you're going into a salon, correct?
Yeah.
Like MetroCard.
No. They pull out the MetroCard, you just go.
Get out.
Yeah. Go take the Metro. Like, no.
Go take the Metro.
But anything that you're doing, like he was putting another set of acrylic on me.
Right.
No need to remove everything. Gel polish. People, I get asked a lot about this gel polish. Well, I have to remove that whole base. No, why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
File down to the base. Add a little more base. It's never going to bulk up because you're always filing it off again. You're taking it down. A hard gel. Now, hard gel is going to be a little different for people as far as removal, because hard gel doesn't soak.
Right.
So again, you're going to have to hand file it down. I don't want to see you take a hand file and keep going until you hit that natural nail.
Right.
Leave some hard gel on it.
Leave a little bit of protection. Okay, what about for those that are at home right now and they're like, I got to get this off, right? Let's say the quarantine ended. They went and got their nails done, and then the lockdown hit again.
Boom. Yeah.
And they're like, I've got this. What do I do? I know we've done a video on it before, but I'd like to just kind of talk it through. Exactly what should they not do?
Bite. Don't bite them.
And the only reason I'm asking this is because we say it every time, but you don't listen. So we're going to say it again, damn it. Don't bite.
Don't bite your nails. In fact, I think we just did something about nail biters, and people were like, guilty. Guilty.
Of course.
Or he's texting guilty. I've done it myself.
Hey, I'm guilty.
I get it. But no, I mean, we have some great videos. Not only we, have videos on how to maintain. So like how to shorten a little, how to file it down a little bit, how to maybe get some, polish back there to strengthen the back end to, kind of make it look normal. And then so get you by. I think we called it the good enough manicure.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's going to be a point that you're like, okay, this is no longer, I can't get by. If I can't get my nails done, I have to remove them. We have a great video on that too.
So if you are going to soak, let me ask you this, because I think most people at home, they're going to like, what are the steps? Like, do you hit it with a file first and then do you go in and you soak for how long? And then like that's going to soften it up and you're going to file it more, right? Or do you clip from the beginning? Like if you've got, let's say, acrylic enhancements on, what are sort of the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you're going to take?
Well, I would recommend, first of all, versus soaking, wrapping them.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. But first I would clip the excess. Don't keep a long extension on and then have to soak all of it and then shorten. Get rid of the excess. Just boom, boom, boom. So taking those toenail clippers, clipping them off. You're going to want to take a medium grit file and you're going to want to hit that nail a couple times. On
the front.
Yeah, or the whole body.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Got it.
Because you want to kind of give something for the acetone to click into, like grooves, because typically we have like a gel polish top coat on.
Right.
So that's going to kind of
break the seal.
Yeah, it's going to act as a barrier for that acetone. So we want the acetone to be able to absorb. So I do that. Then I take like very little cotton balls or a small amount of nail wipe. I don't use a massive amount of one and then soak it with the acetone and then put it on because it just absorbs. It kind of just...
Okay.
So you want to keep it small so that way it's actually the acetone's concentrated on that and sit it right on that nail and then wrap it in foil.
For how long?
I like to do about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Take it off.
And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
And this is why I like to do the foil technique, especially if you're doing yourself, because if you're soaking in acetone, right, Habib, and then I pull it out, right? I pull it out and I start filing this nail and start scraping. All these nails are hardening back up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
So by the time you come to the second one, there's nothing to do because it hardened again.
Right.
It doesn't stay gooey.
Right.
So if you do the foil, remove, scrape, I like to take that file again, kind of file off the excess. If you need to, put the cotton back on, go to the next one.
Gotcha.
It's going to take you about 20, 30 minutes, especially doing yourself.
Yeah.
But if you do that soaking or you have the foils on, don't take all the foils off and then start doing it. It's one at a time.
Got it. Going in all fingers in a bowl of acetone, isn't that kind of old school? That's kind of an old school method, right? Because I remember like you have the manicure bowls, you fill with acetone, and that was like kind of old school of how you would sort of soak.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I know people do it, but I'm not a fan because of the very reason.
Yeah,
even when I'm a
sense.
nail tech, I'm still grabbing your whole hand and these are
course.
hardening up. And then I had an experience like this poor girl, one of my friends, she had a lady in a bowl and she had a candle here. And it, yeah. So I just don't like that open. Even if you are doing that, I would put a towel around.
That's good.
So the fumes aren't escaping.
So when you do it for 10 minutes and you're doing individual foil, how much does it actually soften the acrylic? Like, is it, I mean, obviously it's going to soften it because acrylic does take in the acetone. It's porous. But like how much of a difference, like, is it like super gummy? Like what's the expectation?
It depends what product you have on. An MMA product is going to be a nightmare. It becomes
bad.
And I've gotten a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that on community or anything, but a lot of people talking about MMA and EMA and saying I use EMA.
Good.
MMA, I'll get a picture and I'm like, that's MMA because it's just this gooey mess and it's not coming off for them. And it's like, that's because of the product you're using. Typical EMA or a typical product, it's gonna kind of get a little gummy, a little soft, but mostly it's just gonna get kind of just soft.
Yeah.
And you just scrape and it just kind of sloughs off.
Okay.
It doesn't become this gooey mess.
I gotcha.
That's kind of a nightmare to deal with.
I gotcha.
And then you just kind of scrape the excess. Don't go aggressive. Scrape a little. And take your file the excess. And again, I think people picture this like removal and it just all comes off. That's not what happens.
Right. So, and also when Tracey says EMA, she's talking about ethyl methacrylate versus MMA, which is methyl methacrylate. MMA, bad. EMA, good. That's it. There's your code. Use that.
That's it.
You'll be okay. I like what you said right now about some people expect it's just going to like melt off, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I thought. But there is some work that has to be done. And again, even if you're soaking and you're taking it down and it's softening it up, you still are not going down to the natural nail. You're not.
Correct.
The strategy is like, I have to make sure that my nails look exactly how mine do right now.
God
like,
made them.
Yeah, it's just not like
It's
because they have to grow out.
Yeah.
If you want to wear natural nails again,
Yeah.
right? It's going to take time.
It's going to take time, and you just lightly buff, after, even if there's little remnants, because when you pull it off, it's still going to be sticky. Kind of file what you can, but you get to that point where you're like, where you're about to hit natural nail. Stop there. Keep on doing the rest of the nails, and then take a nice medium buffer to that to smooth it out.
Yeah.
And then apply a polish. You won't see any. You won't see anything. It's not like it's going to be bumpy or anything. It's
Right.
just going to be that very thin layer.
Yeah. So, general guideline, if you're questioning it at all, okay, removal, it is not supposed to be painful. It's not supposed to be rough, not picking. It's not supposed to be aggressive at all. And you're definitely not supposed to use a damn Metro card, okay? Like, that comes out, you get out of there immediately. And the biggest thing, I think, for me, you know what I mean, is really understanding that in the process of removal, you're not going to remove it so that your natural nails are like perfect in the sense of like there's no product on top. You're going to keep a very, very thin layer. It's going to serve as a protective layer, whether it's acrylic or gel. And as they grow out, it will, if the goal is to get back to like natural nails, then yes, it's going to take some time. You got to grow them out. They will eventually get to that point.
They will.
But there's nothing wrong with having that little layer. And I think that is going to be a huge key. Follow Tracey's advice. Thank you, Tracey, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. See you next time on the Biz Talk.